Sadnam. We are Jen and Ramtin from Heart Center Revolution.
Our intention with this podcast is to share the best of Kundalini Yoga and conscious living with you so you can live a more heart-centered life. In this episode, we go deep into emotions, how they show up for us, the difference between feelings and emotions, and how Kundalini Yoga can help increase your awareness of your emotions and the purpose of them. After the conversation in this episode, I will lead you through a breathing practice similar to the one we did in the last episode, but instead of doing 4 breaths per minute, we are going to experiment with 3 breaths per minute, so you can notice the subtle shifts as you slow down your breath. Let's get right into it.
What I would like to discuss tonight and probably going forward for the theme of this Thursday night classes would be to talk about how our emotions play a role in our life and how we do create and manifest through the utilization and our awareness and direction of the emotion. So what is emotion? Yeah, exactly. How do you feel, right? Sad, happy. That's what we know. That's how we define emotion for us. How we understand it. Do we know where emotions come from? Not really, do we? If you had to take a guess, what would it be? Your head, your heart, okay, your gut, your soul. Yeah. What is emotion again? Feeling. What is feeling? Energy, right? Yeah, feeling is energy. So when you say, I feel sad, what do you mean? Or I feel happy. When you feel something, how do we, the utilization of the word feel, do we really feel? Do you physically feel something? Do you physically feel sad? Because if you do look at, if you go in the dictionary and you want to find a definition for emotion, that's how it's described. That's how it's been defined as feelings. It is used interchangeably, just like brain and mind is used, to explain, what the mind is, what the brain is, and what it does in this world of psychology, biology. Is very interchangeably used. So is feeling and emotion. So is there a difference between feeling and emotion? And how is it the same? How is it similar? How is it different? So these are the questions you want to ask. Always bring some things up, and there's an answer, but the answer is better, understood and experienced when you start finding the answer for yourself. So when you feel hot, how is that different from an emotion of sadness when you feel sad? You feel hot, you feel cold. You don't say, I have an emotion of hotness, right? Or something like that. So would it be fair to say that feelings is more physical, like you just said, right? Feelings are more related than if you feel your body. How do you do that? You touch your own body, you feel it. You feel cold. You feel hot. But do you feel sadness? Do you feel happiness? You could.
Yes.
Yeah. How do you do that?
Here a student shares that he doesn't know how he feels or what sensations he has for his feelings. And here's Ramtin's response.
And that's our goal here. That's what it means by having a self more awareness. And Kundalini Yoga, we say, is a yoga of awareness, self-realization. And what does that mean? We're connecting to the subtle changes emotions and feelings in our body. That's why we had that little exercise, of become aware of your feelings inside. It's different than just an emotion. But there are some parts that work together. We are mind, body, and spirit. So when you feel cold, it's not just physical. When you feel a sadness, it's not just emotional. And what is that? You got to talk about that too. Emotion is energy. So to connect with that, if you say, so it's not really, it will not be understood totally, because if you try to figure it out and define it through the head brain, well, naturally, we stop somewhere, right? There's a kind of a dead end there. And that has been the problem with science, spirituality even sometimes. That anything that goes beyond physical existence now is just in the form of a question. But we are not just as physical beings. And therefore, anything beyond this, if you're not just, trying to tap into that part of ourself that's beyond physical, it becomes abstract. We don't understand it. So when you have an emotion of sadness, there are some physiological changes that occur within the body, and that's where you feel it. And that's why most people say, I feel sad, because they're maybe more in tune with that physiological changes. But there's emotional changes, meaning the emotions, the energy is moving in a different way. The connection stops between organ to organ, the energy that moves. And our awareness, change of subtle energies and subtle bodies at a soul level, at a subconscious level, and a deeper soul level is not there. And that's the reason is because we've been conditioned to only think about these things intellectually through the head brain, not through the heart brain. The emotion is from the heart. It's from the gut. You're absolutely correct. It's not just from the brain. But brain does communicate with the heart and the gut and the rest of the organs within the body. Well, when we just focus on the thoughts, the conditional thoughts, we actually block the conversation and the communication between the head brain and the rest of the organs and the heart. And actually, the heart sends more messages to the head than the brain sends to the heart. And that is blocked. And that's interesting. That's what, think about that. What does that tell about you, about us as human beings? Connection to our source. There's healing, all sorts of healing, connection healings available to us, and is there because that source energy is everywhere within everything. So why is it so hard for us to connect to it? How do we connect to that? And starting from there, we could have other questions about life and creation and our own way of manifestation in life. What does it have to do with our emotions? Being heart-centered. Going forward in our life, these are the changes that are occurring in our lifetime right now. We're going from being a head-centered person, head-brain-centered individuals and beings into more holistic beings by first tapping into our heart. Understanding, there's always an understanding involved, more so experiencing. And that's what Kundalini Yoga brings for us. The kriyas that we do involves breathing, involves movement, involves focus. All that brings all the energy together. And we become aware of certain subtle movement of energy within us. In a Kundalini class, there's a lot of other modalities and practices. Perfect, great. Kundalini is just one of them. for us to become more self-aware of who we are. We're not just physical, not just, spiritual, mental, we're all of it. And every experience that occurs involves every aspect of who we are. But if you don't have, if you've been just trained and conditioned to think two-dimensionally through the head brain, then you simply are not aware of it. We haven't developed that consciousness for us to become aware of it. Now that consciousness is the key.
Awesome. What a fascinating topic. It's so interesting how we take our emotions for granted and we so often push them down or want to avoid feeling them, when in reality there's a wisdom in our emotions. They're there for our own guidance, for our own edification, if we'll just be willing to tolerate and sit with them for a little while. Just remember that in order to do that, you have to look past the grossest or most obvious aspect of our emotions. So the thoughts and the immediate sensations or behaviors or impulses that you have to look underneath those things, focus on the energy and the message of your emotions. Sometimes our emotions are a sign that something's wrong. So something about a relationship or an interaction is out of alignment with ourselves, or maybe we feel that our basic human dignity has been disrespected or disregarded. And I also really love the teachings of Abraham, Esther Hicks, on emotions. Her guidance is that when you're having an unpleasant emotion, all that is a sign that what you are thinking is conflicting with something that your soul believes, that your highest self knows to be true. So if you're having a negative emotion, instead of looking outside of yourself, do look to your thoughts and then look into your soul and try to see how those two things are in conflict. So maybe you are having the thought of, oh, I didn't get this done today. I should have done this. I should have done that. And so you're feeling tense and stressed. Well, that tension and stress isn't necessarily related to what you got done or didn't get done. The tension and stress is a sign that what you're thinking, the thought, I'm not good enough, I didn't get enough done today, is in conflict with the truth that your soul knows is true. So your soul knows that what you did today was perfect, that you got exactly what you should have gotten done, and that you are exactly where you're supposed to be. So when you think a thought that conflicts with the knowledge of your highest self, you get a negative emotion. But we rush through our world and we don't check in with our highest self. And so we assume that our emotions are somehow a barometer or an accurate reflection of the topic that we're thinking about. So I just wanted to add that little piece. It's a little nugget of wisdom I gathered from Esther Hicks recently that has been really interesting as I feel myself when I feel stressed or overwhelmed or feel a little guilt or self-consciousness, really evaluating my thoughts and my inner wisdom instead of evaluating the situation that I'm in. So I just thought I would share that with you. For today's breathing practice, we are going to continue our exploration of the different rates of breath. And so today we are down to 3 breaths a minute. The patterning is a bit different though. In this breathing pattern, we are going to inhale for 7 seconds, hold for 7 seconds, and then exhale for 6 seconds. So we'll inhale. And then when you hold the breath, I like saying suspend better, because you don't hold implies you're going to squeeze all your body and hold in all this tension. And that's not really needed. Just inhale and gently hold your breath. Let it be gentle. Let it be graceful. There's no need to create tension and stress. So let's experiment. We'll kind of jump right in to this 3-minute breath. So let's get into our meditative posture. You can ground your sit bones down. Make sure the heart is nice and open. Shoulders are up, back and down. Crown of the head is lifted tall. Chin is down and back so that you can feel nice energy and openness in the back of the neck. Eyes are closed. focused at the third eye. And take a couple deep inhales and exhales together before we begin our 3-minute breath. So inhaling deeply. Exhale completely with a sigh. Let it all go. Inhale deeply. Exhale completely. Inhale deeply. Exhale completely. Beautiful. Let's actually shake out our shoulders today. Shake yourself around. Kind of let loose whatever is on your mind or on your body. And then we'll resume our meditative seat. Let's all exhale completely. And we'll inhale for 7. Hold for 7. Exhale for 6. Inhale 7. Suspend for 7. Exhale for 6. Inhale. Suspend. Exhale. Inhale. Suspend. Exhale. Inhale. Suspend. Exhale. Inhale. Suspend. Exhale. Inhale. Suspend. Exhale for 6. Continue breathing, counting to yourself, inhaling for 7 seconds, suspending for 7, and exhaling for 6. The quote for this pranayam, there's a couple actually, is that breathing 3 times per minute as a regular meditation will change all of your mental worries and problems. Your whole life will change. 7-second inhale, 7-second hold, 6-second exhale. The next quote here is 3 breaths a minute, practiced for 31 minutes, is a formula for longevity, tranquility, self-balance, and intuition. Beautiful. Wherever you're at, just finish the cycle that you're at and inhale deeply. Suspend the breath gently. And then exhale completely. Keeping the eyes closed, let the breath return to a relaxed pace. Relax the face and the shoulders. Checking in with your own mental, emotional, and spiritual state. If this breathing pattern had an effect on you or calls to you, remember that with just, we did a few minutes here and it has an impact. But if you get more focused with it, if you treat it as a meditation, so you tune in with Om Namo Gurudev Namo 3 times, do this breathing pattern for 7 minutes or 11 minutes, and then you can sing Long Time Sun to yourself, then this can be your meditation practice. It can be that easy. People try to make things super complicated, but it doesn't have to be more complicated than, inhaling for 7 seconds, suspending for 7 seconds, and exhaling for 6. Okay, you did a beautiful job. Go ahead and blink your eyes open when you are ready. Well, that is it for the 23rd episode of Heart-Centered Revolution podcast. Thank you so much for listening. You will not want to miss the next 3 episodes because they each have information about a time-sensitive opportunity to practice with us. So when the next 3 episodes pop up on your phone, make sure you listen to them quickly so that you can get that information and won't miss out on anything. If you want to make sure that you have all the information about what we have coming up, you can visit heartcenteredrevolution.com and sign up to be on our mailing list, or follow us over at facebook.com/heart-centered revolution. Thanks so much. Sat Nam, and may the long time sun shine upon you.